to show you how to make these fabric butterflies. I have two examples, and in this video I will show you videos and images of how I went about creating it, the supply list, some instructions, and just have fun.
Okay, today I'm going to show you how I make these fabric butterflies, and as you can see, this is the size of the butterfly, so it's almost the size of my palm, and it's all fabric, and I'm going to show you how to make them. So the first thing that I'm going to go through is all of the supplies. So this is a great project for you if you have a lot of scrap, or if you want to use scrap fabric and scrap materials. So what we're going to be doing is, the reason why this seems so rigid but it moves is because I use this material called Timtex, and it comes in rolls. You can go online. I'll be providing the links to all the products that I use here in the center, and you're going to have a bottom fabric, and I'm just going to use a piece of, like a quilted piece that I had. There's some batting in here, but I'm just going to use this as my bottom because it's kind of pretty. So it has a top too, but I'm going to cover that up. So I'm going to have a bottom, the Timtex, and then we're going to use all this scrap fabric for the top. Okay, and here I have more scrap fabric in my little bin. And then for saving time, basically what you're going to do is you're going to place all these fabrics all around here, and then you're going to cover, once it's all laid out perfectly, and again this is just demonstration, you're going to cover it with tulle, and I'm doing this all one-handed. And then, and again I have to weight this, so let's get something that's like a weight here. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to weight this, and then we're going to go to the internet and we're going to pull up butterfly line drawings is what I pulled up. And you can basically pick any butterfly, and it's going to load, and you can kind of expand it and make it as big or small as you want it to be. And then you're going to use this stuff, which is a Solvay product. I'll send you the link. It's dissolvable, so that's really key. Dissolves under water. And then you're going to basically take this and you're going to trace it, and you'll stick this on to your computer. And as you can see, for example purposes, I didn't do this exact one. I traced my butterfly, and I used blue painter's tape, and I traced the lines more or less to there, so that now I put this right on top. And then I'm going to be doing two butterflies on this one piece, and I'll show you the process of how that's done. So just to go over a couple other products that I have, this is what I am using for the butterflies antennae, I guess that's what you can call them. There's another one around here someplace. It kind of fell off the board maybe, but anyways, I have two of them. These you can get online or at Joann's, and so you're going to use, I use those as the antenna if you want to get creative. I'll show you on the back. I just take two of them and I sew them in. It's hard to see, but I sew them in, hand sew them in. And then I use some embroidery floss, and I create a little chain. I create a little chain like that to create this little hook. This is your hook, and I hand sew on the hook. You can also use some thin wire. I think I'm going to do that next time. I do use a really thin pen for my line drawings, so make sure you have one of those. And here are all my scraps. So again, they shouldn't be, well, I guess they could be equal. You can play around with it. But I like all of the odd end sizes. I like to keep them around, you know, an inch-ish a piece. And you basically are just overlapping your pieces, and then you're thread painting over those pieces. And then once obviously you're done with it, I use these command strips from the 3M company to hang them on the wall. So oh, the other little fun product I use, and you can probably use something similar, these are called glittering snowflakes. This gives, I don't know if you can see it in the video. Yeah, you can a little bit. See how it sparkles? So I put that in between my fabric. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'll walk you through step by step. I'll have short little videos that show each part of the process. And this is where you have fun with thread color. If you just have fun with it, use up all your scrap and have fun making your butterflies.
This next video I'm going to show you how to get the image of the butterfly onto the Solvay interfacing.
The supplies I'm using are my computer, a pen, a black pen that has a very sharp tip, and here is kind of what that looks like. Some blue painter's tape and the Solvay water-soluble stabilizer interfacing that I'll have a link for you to look at. And then I just found a butterfly on the internet. It's a line drawing. So at the top, I don't know if you can see this, but I just Googled butterfly line drawing and I liked this guy. So I taped the Solvay, you can barely see it. And I'm going to do another one, a different butterfly, I think on that side later, but I'm going to draw on my screen, but on the interfacing first. I'm going to kind of tilt my computer down and I'm just going to draw. This doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but you want it to be as close to perfect as possible. And do your line drawing. So you're going to draw that out. And then if you wanted to also exactly mimic the lines that are here, you can do that as well, or you can come up with your own, maybe not having as small of lines, or, you know, kind of doing your own thing. Maybe you don't like this bubble and that bubble, maybe you want to change that out. So that gives you some flexibility.
The next step is to build the body of your butterfly, and this image shows the scrap fabrics with glitter, and the video will explain those layers in detail.
Okay, so to recap, what I've done here is it's hard to see the line drawings. I'm going to go in a little closer. You can see the line drawings of one butterfly here, and then another butterfly in a different direction right here. So what I did is I have my backing that happens to be some scrap. I was going to make a quilt, so I have a back, batting, some more fabric, and then I have the Timtex right here. And then on top of the Timtex, I just put together all these little pieces of scrap fabric. Then I sprinkled on some of that sparkle glitter. Then I put black tulle on top of that. And just so you know, I kind of pressed the iron very gently on the fabric pieces. Gently. And if they moved, I adjusted them. But they didn't if you do it really gently. Then the final piece is to put on this plastic solvay, it feels like plastic, the solvay interfacing that's dissolvable underwater that has the line drawing. So, and really that's the only purpose I use the solvay for, is just so that I can thread paint over the lines. So that is how that all works. So now, oh, and then I pinned all of this. Now I will tell you that it's easy to make. I would recommend that you have a bigger bottom piece, because look, I did a mistake, you know, should have known better. I should have cut this out, and I had a lot of this. I should have known better. Make sure that this is a little bit bigger, because I really had to kind of be careful in pinning this down. So I am going to start using my free motion foot, and I'm going to turn on my machine. I'm going to use this free motion foot. I have a Bernina, but that's the foot that I use. And I'm going to start, it's hard to do this with one hand. Actually, okay. I am just going to start what I call thread painting. And basically, it's just sewing slowly, you know, on the lines. And what I do is I first outline the butterfly very carefully, just all around it. Just go all around it. And then I'll thread paint around the lines a little bit. So that's my first step.
So now this is the exciting part. You can start to sew. So the first step is for you to sew around the butterfly's outline. Then you can start sewing around the veining. And you can do this really in any color, but then you're going to need to pick your first color. So it's best just to pick the first color you're going to start thread painting with. And you're going to have to think ahead of where you want to thread paint. So you're going to start with your first color and thread paint. And I'll show you an image of a close-up of what that thread painting looks like. Then you're going to move to your second color once you're done with your first color, and so forth. Then you might want to outline with black. Black looks really great. So I'll show you an image of that close-up, and it just is going to be a lot of fun for you to do.
So I'm going to show you how I free motion thread paint. And so I've got my bottom and top threads threaded. I have a free motion foot. I'm going to put my needle in the down motion, and my feed dogs are going to be down. If you don't have the option to have your feed dogs down, then you should not do this. You'll just be very frustrated. So make sure you have a machine that you can push down your feed dogs. I started a little bit here, but I'm just going to walk you through how I thread paint. When I start close to lines, I go slower, and then as I get into more open space, I speed up. So here we go. And I'm moving my hands back and forth, just kind of as if I'm treating the needle as if it has ink on it and I'm painting. So you can see how if I miss a spot, I just go right over it. And so I'm going to stop, and I'm going to show you how that looks. So you can see that's how the thread painting looks.
Here's an image of the close-up thread work. Here's an image of all your thread work done, and it just looks beautiful, and you'll be really impressed with how it turns out. So here I'm cutting out the butterfly, and I'm using a really small pair of scissors, and notice I'm flipping the butterfly from the front to the back, because sometimes you can get the sharp angles a little bit better, turning the butterfly one way and the other way. So it takes a little time, go really slow. If you cut a thread, don't worry about it, you'll satin stitch on it. In this next segment of this video, I'm showing you how I go about satin stitching in a really kind of tight area, a small area where I'm wrapping around a very thin area, and you have to just go really slow. And I show you how to pivot, and you can see the speed at which I go and how I stop. Note that I have my machine set so it's needles down when I stop, so that's helpful. I'm watching a movie in the background, so you'll hear a little bit of the movie during this clip.
And I had hoped for a colleague, a comrade. But brother, you have managed to alienate every...
Here's an image of a close-up of the antennas that I used a glue gun with, and then I used a thin wire that I threaded through the embroidery work or the thread painting. You can also just sew on a little chain of thread or floss. So however you want to apply a hook, you're welcome to do that. And you want to apply the wire low enough so that when it hangs, you don't see the command strip. Now your butterflies are done. They look so great. I hope you enjoyed learning about how to make these fabric butterflies. This was my first video, so give me some grace on the editing and voiceover work, but it was a lot of fun.